What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Kaiden's podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the one and only White Glove Carpet Cleaning. Did you know that in the average home, up to 5 pounds of dirt can collect under carpeting every year? And viruses like the norovirus can survive in your carpeting for up to a month. Dust, pollen, viruses, mold, and even pests such as dust mites can thrive in uncleaned carpets and upholstery. White Glove Carpet Cleaning is a Davis County family-owned company that has been solving all of these issues for over 25 years. From homeowner to business person, White Glove provides professional steam cleaning to carpets, tile, upholstery, and vehicles with the utmost care and is your 24/7 contact for flood and mold emergencies. Right now, White Glove is offering an incredible deal which includes 3 bedrooms and a hallway for just $99. You heard me right. That's 4 areas for under $100. Text White Glove at 801-425-4618 to schedule an appointment and give your carpet the White Glove treatment it deserves. That's 801-425-4618. Excited today to have Connor with me for part 2 of the to carry over the conversation that I started with Cooper earlier this week. Before I get into it, I have a couple announcements I want to make. I don't think I've talked about it yet, and it's not even my event, but there's something going on next weekend. No, I gotta find it. It's next week on Sunday. There is it's a Thrive. Oh man, I lost the email and everything now. Yeah, here we go. Next Sunday, November 17th at the Saltaire, there is a Thrive. It's called Thrive Day, and it's put on by the Open Stories Foundation, which is the Mormon Stories podcast. I'm basically promoting their event because it's like a post-Mormon conference where a bunch of ex-Mormons and post-Mormons will be coming to the Saltaire to talk about what life is like outside of Mormonism, and or if you're in the middle of a transition out of Mormonism, to join a community and to meet people that are in the same boat, same experiences as you. I'm really excited for it. I'm going, and if anybody's listening and is interested in this, then they can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to point you in that right direction. Or you can find the event if you Google Thrive, Healing, Growing, and Community Beyond Mormonism. It will pop up, and it should be one of the first things you find on the web. Tickets are $15. It's an all-day thing at the Saltaire in Salt Lake. No, at the Salt Palace, and there'll be a bunch of guest speakers like the Imagine Dragons guitarist and authors of several books. The podcast host of Mormon Stories, John. What's his name? John Delane? Crap, I just forgot his name. And I can't pull up the fucking email, so I can't tell you what his name is. Anyway, that's really exciting. And contact me if you want more information on that. And then also, I just wanted to say I am working really hard at keeping this podcast alive. And I've really enjoyed just the little bit that I have done so far with my brothers and with Hudge and myself. I think that I'm starting something really good for the community, also for myself. And it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not cheap, and it takes a lot of time. So I'm just going to generously and politely ask if there's anybody that wants to donate $1 or $2 or $5 to me to keep this going, to pretty much to keep me alive, then I would really appreciate it. I have to pay the domain, the podcast domain, X amount of dollars a month to keep my podcast alive. And the more that I post, the more I have to pay. Then I have to pay for all the equipment, and eventually I have to give my mom's headphones back, and I've got to go buy my own headphones. Things like this. If you want to donate, I would graciously accept a donation, but I'm not gonna be like, I'm only gonna do this for donations. And I don't want to do this for profit, not right now anyway. I just want to do this because I'm really, it makes me really excited, and I'm very passionate about building this community. So, you can also reach out to me if you are willing, if you want to donate. I'd be happy to help you that way. You can find me on Venmo, or you can Apple Pay or whatever. So that covers about everything I wanted to talk about, or all my announcements. So today I have Cooper's twin brother, Connor Kelly, with me. And I was excited that he was going to be on time today, but he was not on time. He got caught up. You want to tell everybody what you were doing before you got here?
Gotta play that the COD Zombies.
COD Zombies. I was really excited you were going to be here on time because you were texting me looking for John Delin. I found it. His name is John Delin. Sorry, that's the podcast host for Mormon Stories. Anyway, I was excited he was going to be here on time, and then he texts me and says, sorry, I'm on round 20 of zombies and I can't give it up. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him one little bit, but he finally made it. So I'm glad you finally got here. This room, since you asked, this room was
Sarah's room?
My room. So it was my bedroom, and I rented just this room. And then Sarah moved in, and we rented just this room. And then that roommate moved out next door. And it's a little bit bigger, so we moved the bed into there. And then Sarah officially moved in and started paying rent. So we rent both of these rooms. But we sleep in that room, and then we use this.
It's like closet.
It's a whole closet. This whole bedroom is a closet. Now it's my office and my studio. So, yeah, I have my guitar. I hung my guitar up, and we have our whole storage. We've got everything else in here, because that room's barely big enough to fit a bed for two people. So, plus my TV takes up half of the room. Did you see it?
No.
Yeah, it takes like half of the room because I didn't want to get a small TV. Okay. I'm excited that you're here.
Same.
Did you listen to Cooper's episode?
I listened to like halfway.
Yeah.
And then I got busy.
Oh.
And I listened as much as I could though. 2.5 hours long.
I know. And I don't want to like say, okay, we only have an hour to do this, or we only have 2 hours.
Yeah,
I want to let the conversation dictate that. But 2.5 hours is a long time, and there was a lot that was covered in our conversation. And there's a lot of things I want to follow up with you that we kind of left. Cooper and I saved your conversation for you, so there's a lot of cliffhangers. And basically, I'm gonna let you tell your story, and then we're gonna bring in the survey, the questions that we talked about last time too, and get your perspective. So, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about you, where you come from, and what you're up to these days.
All right. So, 21 years old here. Grew up in Layton, Utah, just as the rest of them.
What's your name?
My name's Connor.
Did I say that? Did I even say what your name was?
Probably not.
Okay. Yeah, this is Connor Kelly.
My name's Connor Kelly, 21, male. Grew up in Layton, as did the others. Just recently moved down to Salt Lake City by myself got a roommate, my friend. Just living in Salt Lake, working full time. Yeah, a little boring old life.
Why is it? That's not boring.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do with your time? What do you do with your life?
I've got a little dog of my own, little Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. I hear Bailey is really sick all the time on Cooper's carpet.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's sick today. I don't know what's wrong with him.
And you left him with Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
That's what you do. I think that's what everyone does with their kids too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know. He's like diarrheaing all over his kennel
and
throwing up.
Oh.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Have you taken him to the vet?
No. Can't pay for that.
Well, you got to take care of your dog.
No, I am.
If you had a kid,
I
you take
am.
him to the doctor.
I mean, it's a 1-day thing. I think it'll pass.
Today's the only
If
day.
it doesn't, if it gets bloody, then we'll go. I'm broke.
Blood is where you draw the line with health.
Yeah.
There's no blood. If there's no blood, you're fine.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
He's
I'll help
alright.
pay to get the dog to the doctor. 'Cause
No, he's fine. He acts fine. He has a tummy ache.
maybe. Well, I have no idea, but that doesn't sound. Cooper called me today and is like, I need the carpet cleaning van because Bailey won't stop throwing up on my carpet, and he
No,
made it
that's
sound like it was a
exaggerating.
long. Yeah, I'm sure.
No,
Yeah,
he's
but-
a liar. He didn't even throw up like on the carpet.
Oh, but
It
it's
was in
so
his
gross.
bed.
You do it one time, and
I know.
I know.
I had to throw his bed away, but it's fine.
So he's just sick. He's not like
Yeah,
there's
he's
not like
sick.
something wrong.
Nope.
No.
He's just I mean I don't know. We'll see.
He did his shots and stuff.
Yeah, he's up to date.
How old is he?
Like 9 months. He's a puppy. Puppies get sick.
Yeah.
So
Remember when Jack ate rat poison?
yeah,
Yeah, that was bad.
that's
That
fine.
was throwing up.
that
blood.
was blood. That's where we take him to the
that
vet.
was a lot of blood. He almost died.
Yeah.
He had to cut his whole belly open.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was miserable.
Yeah.
And now he lives in Idaho.
I know.
Right? Isn't that what Dad did
I think
with him?
so. Just gave him away.
Pretty much let him run off.
Yeah.
Well, what else? You don't do anything else with your time? You take care of Bailey? Where do you work?
Um,
Tell everybody where you work.
So, I've
Your
worked
career.
for Down East for a long time. It's been almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in April. Transitioned over to a company called Hope Ave, sister companies. But funny story, Down East actually just sold Hope Ave. Did you know that?
Just recently?
Yeah,
How recently?
just like last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Sold them to another company?
to actually an employee that worked for Down East. So
Whoa.
yep, we are in the process of transitioning to our own corporate company. So, because
Hope Ave is.
everything has been operationally ran by Down East, so they are moving everything over to this new CEO or whatever. I guess we're just gonna have to build our own team. So, right now I'm just a store manager over in Sugar House and at a store for Hope Ave.
How big is
Um,
Hope Ave? How many stores are there?
Down East is definitely bigger, but Hope Ave has about 11 locations.
Just in Utah?
No, so they're mainly in Utah. We've got some in Idaho and then some in Arizona.
So 3 states.
For right now.
11 stores total.
Yep.
And Hope Ave sells the same things as Down East, like
No.
furniture and clothes.
No, so yeah, Down East sold furniture, Down East exclusive furniture, and then they have their own private label line in clothing. So they created and designed and manufactured their own clothing, and then they did also buy from like boutique brands in LA and stuff. So, and then Hope Ave was all they've only purchased stuff from LA manufacturers. So all of our product comes from boutique brands over in LA that we just buy.
This
But-
is Hope Ave.
So Down East had a little bit more advantages because they're bigger. They have more locations. I think they just profit more money. So they are able to make their own clothing. So they tag their most of their clothing in Down East.
Branded Down
Yeah.
East, but Hope Ave is not. Hope
No.
Ave doesn't have their own
I think
branding.
they can tweak some things and make it Hope Ave, but for the most part, what we sell, most boutiques sell.
What is boutique? What do you mean boutique sale?
Boutique meaning like
Is it sale or
different
sale?
retails.
Boutique sale?
Sale?
What are you saying? Boutique what?
Boutique brands?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that just means like a lot of these buyers that own boutiques or work for boutiques will go to like California and they'll have, or even like Las Vegas, they'll have you heard of Magic? They'll have like
I know,
these,
like David Blaine.
I don't know, but there's like all these clothing and people,
No,
buyers.
David Blaine is a magician. You're not talking about magicians.
No, it's a magic convention, not like
I don't know what magic is.
No, it's like where a lot of these buyers that work for boutiques or own boutiques will go and they'll have this huge market of clothing that people can go and pick out what they want to sell. So they can just go in, take a sheet list, and then they can just mark off whatever they want, order it, pay the price, and then go back to whatever, Utah will come back, and then that's when they'll place their order, and then the orders will come into our stores.
Mm.
So that's focally what Hope Ave does. Down East has a design team where they actually like draw their product out, design it themselves, send
Got
it,
it.
get samples, and they'll get it all in.
Okay, so Hope Ave is like a third party seller
Mm-hmm.
where people with their own thing, kind of like what's that website that what's the website that does that? You can buy really cheap anything.
Shein, Wish.
No, there's a no. Wish is the same thing, but that's not the website I'm thinking
For
of.
clothing,
Or for anything like jewelry, clothing.
I think
There's-
it's Shein.
There's a different one, and it'll come to me probably 20 minutes from now. And you're a store manager for one of the Hope Ave stores.
Right.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good.
You don't want to do it, but you don't want to do it forever.
No, I mean I've worked for Down East for 3 years. I just barely started at Hope Ave, and it's definitely a better environment. I think it's something I'm more passionate about. So, I mean, I'm excited to be able to work for Hope Ave and, overall just work for their new head and new board. I think this new CEO is going to do a lot of good things. So, I'm excited for Hope Ave's changes.
Yeah, that you probably would have a lot of opportunity to move up in the Hope Ave world if you
Yeah.
wanted, and be a big boss in the Hope Ave world.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, so you work at Hope Ave. You have a dog that you take care of. Do you have any other hobbies?
Play zombies.
Who owns zombies at that house? You're at Cooper's place?
Yeah, I think it's Aspen's game, but
I don't see Aspen playing zombies on her own, though.
she's boss at it. She annihilates. She's the
You're
zombie
not
queen.
serious.
Oh, I'm for real.
Aspen goes hard on zombies?
Aspen was the last one standing on the game.
She was fine.
Yeah, she had it all. No, she led us to 26
Wow. 26. But you're on the beginner difficulty.
for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Totally.
Is it Etsy's the website I was thinking of,
Oh,
right? Have you been on Etsy?
yeah. Etsy, I think you can personalize and sell your own stuff, right? I think you.
Well, that's what Hope Ave is doing.
No.
They take other people's stuff and resells them.
So
Isn't that what a boutique is?
yeah. So yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no. A boutique is like a retail store or online store where people are customers and will go on or go in and they'll find something and buy it. Just like, anyone that goes in shopping. The back end, it's a little different. It's called buying. Everything's labeled a tag. So every brand that we buy has their own brand name. So
is it like PacSun buying Hurley clothes?
PacSun is, I think they have their, yeah, exactly. So it's all, what's the word? They're all branded. So we could go and buy Hurley, or we could go buy Ruka. Is that how you say it? Like we could go and buy that stuff if we wanted to. But I mean, Bohm, I don't know if you know what Bohm is. Bohm actually was selling Ruka. I don't know if they still are, but they are. But then we sell stuff like Flying Monkey jeans, and so we can sell these bigger brands. But then there's also a boutique line where there's like, I'm trying to think of all the names, Orange Creek, blah blah blah, stuff that Lush is sold at Nordstrom. We sell a lot of their stuff. So there's just like these different brands that people will create themselves, and then they'll put them in these markets for boutiques to buy from them.
Okay. This is mostly my education.
Mm.
I'm sure most everybody else knows all this already, but I just don't know how it works.
Well, I learned all this, working there. So I had no idea either until I actually got into the retail side of things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you listened to most of Cooper and I's conversation. Our goal for that conversation, I felt like, was an education on the LGBTQ plus community, but focusing primarily on Cooper's experience. So why don't we transition into your experience? Start from wherever you want to start, about your sexual identity, your interests, and how that's shaped you into the person that you are today, and then we can go from there. Talk about your future and what you want out of your future.
Okay. Well, where to start? I don't even know. I guess sexuality wise, I've never really I back then never really knew what was normal or what was even what I even felt. I mean, I would go. I mean, I can remember back in like elementary school and maybe even beginning of junior high, just like not even having a sexual identity. I just feel like no kid's supposed to really know at that age, and I just really didn't. I kind of just saw the norm of people and most guys, dating girls. I mean, it was never really a thing where you would see these elementary kids, you know, falling for these guys. So I mean, I vaguely remember back in the day having crushes on girls and liking girls, but never anything sexually or anything like that. Like it was always just like, oh, everyone, this girl likes me, so I'm just gonna like her back. But when I started to finally realize, more in depth of myself and what I wanted was more mainly, I think, at the end of junior high when I finally started to get feelings and realizing like, okay, like I don't really feel the want to date girls. But I mean,
this is at the towards the end of junior high.
Junior high, I would say, is when I started to figure out really like where I was, what I was feeling, and where I thought I was going. And then I did have lots of guilt, not really guilt, but I didn't really have like the passion to come out, because I really still was curious, because I was like, maybe I just need to date girls, and maybe I needed to try things with girls to really figure out, okay, yeah, this is what I want. Because I remember like having these thoughts about guys and all this stuff, and just was like, this is weird. Like I don't
feeling attraction for guys.
Yeah.
And you felt that was weird.
Weird, and I just
like unusual, or like, oh, I'm not familiar with this. Like I think everybody feels sexual uncertain. Like they have, like when everyone hits puberty, they become sexually curious, and so you started having curiosities
about guys. As soon as I started. And it was never really about girls ever.
And you thought that was weird because you were going through puberty, or you thought that was weird because that wasn't what the norm was?
I guess it would probably be a little bit of both. You didn't really see many guys dating guys in junior high or high school even. Like I just feel like it was just not much of a thing. But I feel like what really engaged me was like in high school. I mean, not even in high school. Yeah, during high school, I would go on social media and I would watch videos and find people on social media, and I would just see that like, okay, there are people out there that are really engaging in this way, and if that's really how I feel, I don't know why I'm not doing that. So, and I would mask myself. I mean, people always guessed it too. They're like, "Do you like guys?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know." And guys would even engage with me, and they would be like, "Hey," like just automatically thinking like, hey, want to talk? I'm like, no, I'm straight. Like it was always just like, why did people already assume that I'm already this way and feel this way when I have been masking it and hiding it for like as hard as I could.
When did you notice that? When did you first notice that?
Like probably like sophomore year of high school. And I mean, obviously, like in junior high, I had no boundaries. I had really no sense of. I mean, I was just this little kid in junior high. Like, I mean, looking back at photos, I was like, no wonder. Like, I was just like coming in wearing Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister every day to school with flip flops on, like, and everyone else is wearing basketball shorts, and like it was kind of obvious. But like and then in high school, I really tried to mask it myself and really tried to be like, okay, I don't want these people to figure it out for me. I want to figure it out for myself. And so I feel like junior year is really when I had a decision. I knew what I wanted. I hadn't engaged in it yet. I mean, I've done things with girls, and just by doing things with girls, it was really certain for me, like, yeah, this is not what I want.
It didn't feel natural.
No. Like, I was like, I can't date girls. I can't kiss girls. Like, it's not, I don't enjoy it. So I knew at, like, junior year, I was pretty solid on what I wanted. And so it started off with friends. I would tell my friend. I think my first person I told was Sienna. I don't know why.
Poor Sienna.
And it was like, and it
Sweet
really,
Sienna.
and it honestly was kind of funny because when I had no plans on coming out. Like I didn't plan this whole thing out. I was just FaceTiming her one day, and I was just randomly like this.
Do you remember how old you were? This is sophomore year?
Junior
year?
So 16, 17, I don't know. One of those. But I remember just like FaceTiming her, and she lived up in Alaska, and I just had this like overwhelming feeling like this is the first person you tell. Like, you just need to start somewhere and see how reactions are and how people partake in it and see what they do. So I remember just being like, hey, Sienna, like, I have something random to say. And I remember just telling her, and she was just like, oh, okay. Do you want, like, do you want me to tell my mom? Like, and I was like, no. And then I realized, okay, like, somebody knows. Like, that was the first time I've ever been, like, in a spot where I felt comfortable telling somebody. And then it was easy from there on. I remember being like, all right, like, who's the next person I'm going to tell? And then I went to Claudia, and then I went to my friend Jessica. It just, like, turned out to be like, this really is not as hard as it seems. And so I told my friends, super supportive. Like, honestly, if I had friends that just were not as supportive as they were, it probably would have been a lot harder. So I really had it really lucky with the friends I had. But then I remember, like, being done telling my friends, and they were like, all right, the next step is, you know, you got to tell your parents. And that's when I was like, oh, crap. Like, I was not ready for that at all. And so it took weeks and weeks, like probably even months, just to tell my parents, and after telling my friends. So finally, like, one day I was just in my room. I swear it was like, I think it was like a Sunday night or something, and I was at home in my room, and I just, like, my friends were in a group message, and they were like, Connor, today's the day, you just got to go tell your mom. Like, just go tell her. She'll be fine. You know, you have us. If anything goes wrong, like, you just never know how this will play out. So finally I went, all right. So I texted my mom. I'm like, hey, can you come down to my room? I got to talk to her. And she's like, no, you come up to me. I was like, okay. So I went up to her. She was doing the dishes, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And I think she realized, like, oh, okay, something's going on. So I remember I just sat her, we sat down on the porch in the backyard, and I just told her, and I remember just her face just like dropped. Like, I can't even describe the face. And I remember she just started crying, and I went, crap, like, I haven't had a reaction like this yet. Like, I don't know how to, you know, react. So I just sat there, and she just kind of questioned, like, are you sure? Like, what made you come out? And then I was like, was it kind of, like, did you not really guess? I was like, was it not really obvious? And she just was like, well, I had my hints, but I never really thought that it was, you know, certain. So I remember she hugged me, and she actually went on a drive for a couple of hours. And I was at home like, oh my gosh, she's never going to come home. Like, I don't know. I had no idea what was going to happen, but she actually came home. She even bought me, like, a drink from Sonic, and she sat me down and cried again and was super supportive. She was like, there's, you know, this is the least of my concerns. Like, all I care about is your happiness and that you're safe. I just get worried about, you know, people making fun of you and stuff. So she was like, as long as, you know, we do it together, then we'll be great. And so I've had a lot of support from her. And then
do you think, was she crying because she was somber? She was sad?
I think she was really confused and conflicted. I mean, a parent that's never had to do that yet, and especially in a time where it wasn't very popular, I think she was just very like, I don't know how to react or what to do. So I think just tears were her first reaction. And so I didn't get offended. I didn't take it as like, oh, it's like a rejection emotion. But I know we all are very emotional. I mean, I was emotional myself. But I knew Mom just needed to think things over and figure out what was the best answer. And I mean, I took her support just as I would hope. Like, I thought things would maybe have turned for the worse. I didn't know. I really had no idea, but I was just really thankful for the reaction I did actually get. So
you're yeah. You feel good about it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was really happy about it. And then
good.
She ended up same night, okay, now we got to tell Dad. And I was like, okay. So then I texted Dad, and I said, hey, Dad, got to talk to you. Can you come over here? And he was like, yeah, sure. Me and Casey are on our way. So I was like, sweet. So then he comes over with Casey. We sit down on the couch, and he just was staring at me. And I was like, hey, so I just told Mom.
Glare.
Yeah, I was like, I just told Mom that I'm gay. And he, like, stood up and just, like, had this big smile on his face. He's like, I knew it. He's like, I knew it.
Do you think Mom called Dad when she was out on the drive before she told you?
No.
You don't think she said anything to
No.
Dad?
No.
I guess they'll tell us now. They're
Yeah.
gonna listen to this.
I guess.
Give us details.
Yeah, I guess I have no idea. But, I mean, Dad stood up,
That's
grabbed me, gave me a hug, was just like, I knew it. I knew as soon as you texted me that was what you were going to tell me. I'm so proud. I'm so excited. Like I've been just waiting for you to find the right moment, and I'm glad it's right now. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, that was easy. And I know like a lot of people my age and even younger, even older, just have such a hard time, especially with their parents. So I really was really lucky that way, for sure.
How did you feel having two completely different reactions though?
With their different personalities and different, lifestyles. With mom being going to the church and stuff, and at that time, I think I was trying to go with her. I think she was, thinking a lot about the church and her family, and what like the future was gonna be. And I never thought like, oh, mom's family or dad's family is gonna, turn me down, or like I knew I was always gonna have some sort of love, whether they agreed with it or not. So I was not, I wasn't expecting anyone to shut me out. So, I kind of expected it. I think, yeah, again, with their lifestyles and their, what they do, dad not going to church, I think just has a lot to do with it. And I guess I don't know.
I think it's I know mom and dad just like you know them, and I know that they've both been equally supportive of you and Cooper through your journeys. But the shocking thing is, and what I think a lot of where a lot of my current beliefs and feelings come from now is from those different reactions. I love the connection and relationship that we have with mom and dad, and my relationship with both of them is way different. But not one isn't better than the other. We both have excellent relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very interesting to me that mom, who is so loving and supportive and caring for her kids we are her number one for sure. How you being open about your identity can be detrimental to her, but really encouraging to dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're facing now. That's what we're going through now with all of our family. But now, you've been going through it going through it sounds like it's a bad thing, but you've been facing this for the last, that was junior year. So how many years is that? 3-4 years since you've come out? 5 years?
Yeah, I would say almost. I think I hit 5 years in July.
So you've been like facing the questions and the different beliefs and balancing relationships and managing them for 5 years. I've just put the podcast out, and I kind of explained it with Cooper, and have been getting blowback a little bit, just by not being Mormon anymore. You see what I'm saying? I guess I should to stay on point and to let you finish your story. It's interesting that you being true to yourself can be hard for anybody. Even for our mom who loves us so much. But then it can be so exciting and encouraging for dad. And I know they're gonna. I got to be sensitive to both of them, but because I know that they both love us. But we could talk about that later too. So why don't you?
Mom wasn't. I wouldn't say discouraged. I think she just overall was thinking of the worst outcomes rather than the good. I think I know she was worried about high school. I was just going into senior year. I thought she thought I was going to go through a hard time and that people were not going to be very nice to me, and that she was even worried about how I was going to go about going to dances, and so I think just was very worried on people, and she was open about it. And she said she just was ultimately just worried about people being mean to me, not treating me right, that I was never just going to have a good senior experience, just because I was, when I think about it now, I can't really think of anybody that had come out as early as I did. And I'm not saying I was the first. I know that there were, some people, but that's another thing is I feel like with me coming out, especially in high school, it helped a lot of people. And I can say that because a lot of people did reach out to me, and they
Which
said,
is awesome.
really, like, I
Yeah.
was really pleased because I had a lot of people that said, hey, like, no one knows, but I'm kind of going through the same thing. Like, how did you approach? And it's just almost like a confidence thing. You just gotta be true to yourself, and no matter who it is, family, friends, it really doesn't matter what they think. In the end, it's just your happiness, and that's what I was really prepared for with when telling my friends and family. It was just like, if this is where I want to take my life and want to do, like, I gotta just worry about that with myself and not what they think.
And then you face the consequences later.
Right.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay, keep going. So you told mom and dad. Mom and dad are both so supportive.
Yeah.
And then
From there, senior year was great.
And then senior year come up and everything was fine. Senior year, pretty
Yeah.
much. And since.
And I gotta say, and it's doing that at that time, my senior, it really did. I don't know like how my senior year would have been if I didn't. I think I probably would have been more miserable. I think I had just being able to be myself and not have to feel like I was wearing a mask in school. Like, I was able to be my true self and be confident in myself and not have to feel like I was hiding anymore. Like, it was really fulfilling. I feel like I did that most of my high school year, and that's what sucked is I just felt like that was going on. So I was really, really excited senior year. That's why it was my favorite year in high school.
Why? Because you were more confident about yourself?
In myself.
You weren't hiding anything.
People, like, it helped me, like, with, I don't even know why, but, like, as soon as I came out, I, like, had more friends. People loved me and supported me, and I can still say to this day that, like, I've not had an encounter with anybody, especially in high school, where it's been about my sexuality in a negative way. I feel like everybody that I've had in conversations with, I've never had a negative experience about my sexuality.
Do you think that's I would say that's partially because, well, growing up and going through puberty is challenging enough for anybody. Doesn't matter how you end up on the other side. But being curious about your sexuality is challenging growing up, and then having feelings that are different than the norm, like being gay or being bi or any other having any other kind of sexuality that's not straight, and trying to suppress that will make your whole experience in life I'll give you a lot more anxiety, wouldn't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So once you finally address that, you're saying it gives you confidence and it clears the air with everybody, and then it invites people to be closer to you because of you being open,
yeah,
and being aware and helping other people be aware about who you are. And then at the same time, it's probably pushing away the negative influences in your life, right? Like the people that aren't going to be beneficial for you, as in friendships.
Yep.
Cool. So how about since high school?
Since high school, same thing's been great. I mean, I had a lot more opportunity with my choices. I've always had a passion for a lot of like design and interior design, and I feel like I was very open that way with like my sexuality. I was able to be more confident that way to do what I really wanted. I feel like when I was masking myself and my sexuality, I just didn't have much opportunity, and I felt like I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do because I was, straight or whatever. So being able to, be the way I am now, I just feel like I just had endless opportunities, and I was able to take them. So, working with, I went to cosmetology school. I've always had a passion to do that. And I was like, there's no way that I can do that with, me being so-called straight. Like, no one's going to believe that. So then as soon as I did that, I was like,
if you were faking
great.
it. But there's fake cosmetology.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's straight Cosmo guys.
Yeah. I was the first in my class when I started, and everyone
fake
was
straight.
women. No, I was out.
Oh, you were out at that point?
So that's why I did it. It's because it helped me be able to do what I actually wanted. And I just feel like a lot of people that are trapped feel like they can't do what they want because they're so stuck. So that really helped me too. I probably wouldn't be doing what I am right now, obviously, if it wasn't for me to come out so soon. But yeah, since that, I just have never had problems with it. I've never been bullied. I think a lot of people do go through that, and I'm not. I just really, really am lucky that way to have such great friends and family and peers and supporters and coworkers that really do love me for me. And I mean, obviously, there's going to be those people that sit and stare at you or think you're weird or whatever. But I'm just really lucky to be in my place and not have to go through that.
Good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you. So, what happened to cosmetology school?
I hated it.
It
sucked.
Well, I mean, I know that. I know the story, but why don't you tell everybody? Because you just said it was an awesome way to express what you were feeling.
And I feel like I've always been artistic, and that's why when I listened to the podcast, he was like, "We've never been really artistic." I was like, "What? Like that's a lie."
I know. I don't think he meant to say it that way. That's what I.
Well, he was like on paper. I was like, I mean, growing up, I always drew. I always loved to color.
I thought he did too.
Yeah, no, we totally did. That's why I was like, "What is he talking about?"
And both of your handwriting has always been.
I've always
perfect.
I've always loved, the creative side. So I loved to be able to do that through cosmetology and hair. And I've always loved doing my friend's hair in the past. Like, I would do my friend Sienna's. I think Cooper was saying this too. Like, I would go and do her hair like every night before school. And that's really where I was like, man, I should really do this. And so I signed up through high school, and Layton High paid for all of it. So it was awesome. I think we just had to pay for kits and stuff, like the actual tools. And then as soon as I got it, I loved doing it. I loved doing hair, but then I was working almost full time at Down East too. So it was really overwhelming. And so I had to make a decision between two, and I knew I wanted to quit cosmetology because I hated doing nails. Like nails, I was forced on me to do acrylics, and I hated doing acrylics. And then I had to do like perms and crap that I hated. Like I wanted to just do like I loved to do color, I loved to do cuts. I even loved barbering. I loved cutting men's hair. So that's really what I wanted to do. And I had to spend more money. I had to spend more time, like a lot more time to graduate. And so I made the decision to just work at Down East full time. So I quit cosmetology. But I actually just went in there a couple months ago to go get my hair done, and they just started a new hair design class. So you can just do hair now.
Well,
and
you
I was
should
like,
go back
what
then.
the heck? I mean, now it's not free.
No, it's
So.
not free. And you'd have to restart, wouldn't you?
Yep.
That's
No, I think they would probably put me through a couple of class courses, but other than that, I think I'd have to kind of redo a lot of things. And I
Are
don't
you
really wanna do
comfortable?
that.
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Do you need to move the
No.
mic around?
Nope.
Do you need a drink?
I got one.
Mom didn't say anything about no alcohol in this one, so I can go make you a drink real quick.
No, I got my fizz right here.
Okay. And there's water in that one. It's for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've only listened to the half of Cooper's episode, then you heard all about his makeup.
Yep.
Well, how makeup has been introduced in his life. And he referenced you a lot in his story about his artistic side, his creativity, how his coming out, and kind of how you were his pioneer in that sense. Did you feel a kind of responsibility for Cooper as he was coming out? Because he said that you had never had that conversation about being gay until you would come out, and then it was that conversation kind of made its way between you two.
Yeah.
What was that like?
When I came out, I didn't even tell him. I didn't tell really anybody except for my friends and parents. Like, Cooper found out on vacation. You found out on your mission. Like, I mean, if I could go back and probably redo it, I'd probably sit everyone down and tell them. But I was just so stoked to just be able to come out myself. And then, one thing led to another. When I came out and started doing hair, it just kept escalating to more and more and more opportunities. And I've always had, I mean, I didn't really have a passion, but I always had like a desire to do makeup. And I didn't know why. I was really like, why? And so I remember just like watching mom do her makeup, friends do makeup. I remember like going to like the store and seeing makeup, that just thinking like it just caught my eye. And I think it has to do a lot of with the creative side of me and Cooper is just it's just another form of art. And I never looked at it that way. I just thought it was some feminine products that women wore every day, and that it's just something part of a woman's, regimen to get ready. And so, and I think I mean, you look at billboards and commercials and ads and all that stuff, and you see all these makeup brands advertising these women and all this stuff, and you never really saw men in makeup. So that's why I was always just like, it's a feminine thing. I can't tell anybody about this. And it just was another thing. I was like, okay, I'm out now, but I can't just say I like makeup. And it's just I'm overwhelming people. So I would secretly do it, just like Cooper said too. But I would go in mom's drawers and play with mom's makeup like a little kid. And I would wait for the good time for her to go to like work or something, and I would hurry and do it, and then I would just wash it off. And there were lots of times where mom's like, do you have mascara on, or do you have like eyeliner on? And I'm like, no, like, what are you talking about? And that would go on for years. And there were times where I was just like, okay, I'm going to just stop doing this, because it's not, worth getting caught. Like, at that point I was like, is this really where I want to go with my life? And I made that decision. I was like, no, I don't really want to. So I would stop, but then I'd always go back to it. And so finally I just was like, okay, I think this is something I want to do, and I don't know how to do it. Like, I have to come out again, basically, and it kind of sucks, but I mean, it's just
Come
how
out
it
and
is.
say I want to wear makeup.
Now I want to wear makeup, Mom.
Oh.
And so,
Like, this is who I am. This is what I.
And I thought that
want
was
to
another
do.
way. And then all like Cooper said was there was these influencers on like Instagram and YouTube and stuff that I would watch. I'm like, okay, like, it's all advertised for women, but there are these men that are brave enough to, do it themselves. And I'm like, why am I not one of those men? Like, why can't I have the confidence and want to try it? So I was like, I just gotta do it. So I honestly don't even remember how I started. I just remember, and Dad doesn't even know this yet. So I remember it was one time he was living in his townhouse up in Layton, and he was single as a Pringle and would go out every single day, and his place was so empty, had no food, and Dad would never cook or anything. He would just go out and eat, so his pantry was just empty. And I remember one time,
but he'd make that stew. He'd make that potato.
Yeah, he would always make a roast.
The roast.
He'd always make a roast.
He'd kick ass at the roast
and invite us on a Sunday, and then we would open up the cabinet and everything else is empty.
There would be flies.
Yeah,
flies and roast.
And so I remember one time me and I think Claudia came over to his townhouse when we were in high school, and Dad was like, hey, like, do you just want to go grocery shopping? And I was like, sure. So he gave me his credit card, and he's like, buy whatever you want. I was like, great. So we went, and I remember just like piling 2 carts of groceries. And I remember we went past the makeup aisle, and I was like, I think Claudia had already known at this time that I was interested in makeup. I was like, let's just throw a couple of cosmetics in the bag.
Shopping spree.
Yeah, I was like, let's just throw some makeup in there. He would never know. So I remember I just grabbed like all this stuff. I had no idea what anything was. And I just threw everything in there and took it home and put the groceries away. And I remember I just sat down and did it for the first time. And I was like, this is so fun. Like, I just remember having so much fun, and like, it was just excited me. And I'm like, I think this is what I want to do. So it escalated to me finally just investing in my own makeup. I was going and buying it myself. And then, yeah, I would finally, I think I was like a year or 2 later, I just would put like foundation on, and I think I was good enough at it that I tried to work at like Sephora and even Mac. Cooper's working at Mac now, but I tried working there too. But the thing with my makeup is I didn't use it like Cooper's advantage. Cooper does the whole shebang. With me, I always just did like a plain makeup look. Like, I'd always just do like foundation, contour, bronzer, and then I would do like light mascara just to darken my lashes, but I never wore eyelashes out. I never wore eyeshadow. Like, I always was very minimal with my makeup. But then, yeah, like, one thing led to another. I started buying women's clothes, and then I started to just be a lot more feminine in the way that I just never, I don't know. It just was like, I'm wearing makeup now, and I wanted to complement it by, buying a women's coat. And so working at Down East and even Hope Ave, like, I was able to just buy all this stuff. And I remember one time I just like grabbed all my guy clothes and sold all of it. so I could go buy more girl clothes.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
nice.
and I don't know what it was. I don't know why I did it. It was just something that I was learning and thinking that I wanted to do. So I went and bought it all and was doing it for a while. And I mean just last year I was getting just like overwhelmed. I don't know why. I think a lot of it had to do with um like where I saw myself in the future, and for some reason I didn't see myself doing that long term. I don't know why. Like still today I don't know why I decided to. I mean, I would just get this overwhelming feeling that I just needed to cut down on it. So I finally made a decision. It was seriously like last year today. I finally just sold all my makeup and I sold all my girl clothes again, and then I went and bought guy clothes again, and then just started doing this. And I think a lot of it was just like a trial and error. Not even an error. It was just a thing that I was just like, I got to figure myself out, and I can only figure that what I am if I try it. And I can't keep, avoiding these feelings and then being miserable. I've just got to figure this out, try to see what I want and do what I want without harming anybody, and do what I want, what I'm passionate about. And for a while I was passionate about it. Like I would do people's makeup, I would do all of it. Like Cooper's doing it now, which is great. But then I just decided, I was just like, I think growing up now, I want to take my life to another step. And I think it just makeup wasn't in there.
A different direction.
Yeah. And I mean, today I don't have a whole makeup collection, but I'll put some bronzer on. I'll curl my eyelashes. Occasionally I'll like wear like a little bit of concealer to conceal my acne, but like right now, like I'm just, like it's just not how it was. Like I will go back through photos and see myself, and it was like crazy.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember it was like I would only see you in makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I never see you in makeup.
And every day it was like I'd get up, and first thing I would do is shower and put my makeup on. Like it was like a routine that I would do every single day.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and it was fun. I loved doing it, expressing my creativity by doing that every day. It was fun for me.
It was like expressing who you are.
Right. And it was expensive. That was probably another thing. It was like I mean I was like 19, 18 and buying high-end makeup. Like I was broke all the time, but I had nice makeup. So I mean a lot of things where I just was not able to afford it. And I just feel more confident now as I am today than I if I were to keep doing that. So I think it's just like I said, like try it, enjoy it, and then I'm over it
Either
now.
fall in love with it or move on from it.
Yeah.
So you went I think you're echoing what Cooper was saying, and it's more of like a creative outlet than it is like a hard point lifestyle.
Right.
You don't have to be all in on makeup to express yourself. It's just a way, or you don't have to be all in on makeup because you're gay or because you have different feelings. You do it because you like how it expresses your character.
I didn't do it to cover up. I mean, today I'll cover up my blemishes, but I would have perfect skin and I would still put like 2 layers of foundation on. It just was more of a hobby and something I liked to do other than just trying to conceal imperfections.
Yeah.
I was doing it just for the fun of it. And then, I mean, there are people, guys and girls, that will buy makeup for insecurities, and they do it because they are not comfortable in their own skin and that they feel like they have to wear makeup to, feel presentable, and that they feel their best when they do it, which is great. I mean, that's what makeup's for. I think makeup is there to help you feel better about yourself. And if you have insecurities about your skin, or just your face in general, I think everybody does. But there's a tool called makeup out there that you can use, and it's there to help anybody feel better about themselves. And whether that's creatively or if that's for your own personal reasons and want to, feel more confident.
Yeah. It's what fascinates me the most is this perception that we've created in our culture, where everybody kind of has expectations for how people should behave in certain settings, and what certain actions or ways that we, like the way that we dress and the way that the way that we present ourselves, we've all set expectations for how we should look for who we are. So if I'm a straight white middle class male, I have a catalog of clothes that I'm supposed to be wearing. If I'm gay, white and male, middle class, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think ideally, I think we should be able to express ourselves however we want. And I don't think people don't feel that way, I guess. What I'm struggling with the most is, how is merging like this, the gay community, the LGBTQ community with our Utah culture, and having mixed emotions and different beliefs, and being able to express ourselves however we want, but not casting judgment on other people. Do you feel like people have cast judgment on you, one for being gay, for putting on makeup, for wearing girl clothes, for being feminine? Do you feel like you've been classified or put in a separate category, or been discriminated because of it?
Not necessarily discriminated. I mean, when I was going from wearing men's clothes and no makeup to women's clothes, I think a lot of people were like, okay, like, do you want to be a girl? And I mean, I gotta be honest, when I was going through all of this, I had identity crisis, and I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted to be a girl. If I feel this way, do I want to be a girl? And I was serious. I would struggle all the time thinking maybe I should just be a girl because this is what I want to do. And then it went to just, no, like, there are people on YouTube and Instagram that are doing what I'm doing but are proud to be a guy. So that's when I really would sit down and be like, it's really not. It's people play this out to be makeups for women, and if guys wear it, they want to be a girl. Or even just like if someone comes out gay, they just think, oh, they have this new style. Or there are straight men out there that are, completely straight, no gay morals, or no gay attributes at all.
No gay about them.
But they'll come off as gay, or like they have like a great fashion sense, and they sometimes wear things that are more feminine. But then I just think people need to like classify things and gender neutralize everything into women do this and men do this and gay men do this and lesbians do this. And I think that's just where it's just like it's a personality thing. It's just everyone has their own different like wants and needs and to make themselves comfortable. And I hate how people always have to link it to sexuality. And there are lots of straight guys out there that you could never, or gay guys out there that you can never tell that they're gay. Like, I mean, today there are so many guys out there that are still like quote unquote in the closet. And you would never know. Like, it's all just, it's the person's personality. And I think and people just need to be open about their own personalities. And
that's profound. That's very profound. I think you said it way better than how I'm trying to say it. I think instead of having these expectations for how people should behave, we should. Well, Cooper made a really good point too, where if we're curious about somebody's sexual identity, or about their pronouns, or why they behave the way they behave, we should be more concerned about the person as a person. And you said personalities? Is that the word you use?
Yeah.
So I really like that. I think we're all on the same page there. What's tough for me is, well, yeah, I guess we can leave it there, because you've covered everything. One question I asked Cooper, and I think I know how you feel. I wanted to know, when you were coming out, when you were starting to address your feelings, did you feel like you had to come out? Because Cooper made it sound like he just started to behave how he wanted to behave. He started going out with guys, and he started wearing makeup, and he never really gave everybody a coming out. He didn't have a sit down with mom and dad like you did. Yeah. Did you feel like you had to do that?
No. I actually remember before I came out, and the reason why I did come out is because I actually saw a couple of people on, I think it was Twitter, coming out and posting about it and thinking, wow, like look at all this positive feedback and engagement that they're getting from this. Like, when I thought about coming out, or if I were to post something, I never thought that it would turn out to be the way that it did. But I remember I would see people that would come out and think, wow, look at all of this positivity that they're getting. I was just like, maybe it's not as scary as I think. So a lot of it, the reason why I did come out, like I even posted something myself, was because I got a lot of influence from people on social media and what they did and how happy they were and how excited that they were for their new journey and what they were doing. So that's where I was just like, all right, well, maybe it's not so tough. And that led to telling my friends. And then once everybody knew at that point, I went and took a picture. Claudia helped me do it. And I posted it on Instagram. And I just basically was like, all right, like I'm coming out, blah, blah, blah. And then I actually had lots of people reach out to me and they were like, did Cooper hack your Instagram? Like people like seriously like did not even take it seriously. You? But then like again, like a lot of people were super supportive. Like it was overwhelming how much love and support I was getting from everybody. So, I mean, obviously it was a personal choice for me to come out. I didn't feel forced. I had a lot of influence though. And I think, back then and it was a time for a change. And I think a lot of people were noticing that. And I think that's when it became more popular. And it still is becoming more popular.
Yeah. The culture's changing for sure. The attitude about coming out. But you didn't feel like you didn't owe anybody a coming out story, but you
I did it for my personality that I just wanted to make a statement. I guess I wanted to make it loud and proud, and that I was sick of hiding and I didn't want to hide anymore, and that I'm proud to be who I am now. And I don't have any problems with people, just going from being straight to gay and people finding out, like that's great. And I know a lot of people that have done that. I just did that because I wanted to make it clear to everybody that knew me and was following me that like, hey, this is who I am. And if you've known or if you've had ideas, you were right. And I'm proud to be this person now. And if you don't like it, then there's an unfollow button. You don't have to follow me in the next couple of posts and journeys and stuff. And so I just wanted to make it clear and loud and answer questions that were going to come to me. And I can say that there was probably one negative, I had somebody reach out to me. I'm not going to say who it is, but they messaged me and they're like, hey, can I come over? It was the day I posted it. They're like, can I come over and talk to you? And I was like, oh, sure. Some guy. And he had been very into the church, and I knew he was very LDS, and I was probably like, oh gosh, this kid's going to come out to me. And that's because I had been getting that. So I was like, this kid's going to come out to me too. He actually came over, took the time to come to our house, came down to the basement, talked to me, and looked at me in the face and said, are you sure? Like, do you think you're sure on this? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, I don't think you are confident. Like, I don't think you know exactly what you're talking about. He's like, maybe and then he just started talking more.
This was in high school when you came out.
Yes, it was the day I came out. This guy was like bringing church into it. And the thing is, and I can say, was with the church, before I came out, I was trying to go with mom, and I was not the perfect, as nobody is. And I mean, I would go every once in a while, and I actually still try to go. Like I didn't think this coming out would make me stop going to church. Like I actually still tried going with mom, because overall, I didn't think our ward or even the church in general was very evil and bad, and as a lot of people in the gay community made it come out to be. And there were a lot of people in the church that supported me and my coming out. So I was like, why I'd leave. And then, so I actually kept going. So when he came over, and I was like, I'm still going. Like, I'm not dumping the church in any way. I didn't slander the church in the post. So I actually said, I was like, you have no right to come over here and tell me that, because it took a lot of confidence for me to post that, and I didn't involve the church. So that's where I get really sick of people using sexuality within religion, is because it's completely opposite. And then I mean, now I can say that I don't participate in the church anymore with some policies that I've been going through, but back then I still try to be an active member, I guess I can say.
Where do your beliefs stand now then?
I mean, I really don't follow the church much, and so I don't really listen to news and stuff. But what I do see is from the LGBT stance on from them, I don't see much support, and so I myself am not going to support someone or something that doesn't support me. So I have chosen to distance myself from it. But again, I'm not going to shut out or disown or um, be evil to anybody that chooses to stay with the church, no matter what my sexuality is, because if they can stay in the church and still support me, I can stay out of the church and still support them. So I'm not going to say, hey, you are Mormon, I can't be friends with you because they don't agree with me. Like, that's just, I think it's all I mean, if it makes them happy, as this makes me happy, I'm not going to take that happiness away from them. And so I have chosen to let people be what they want and do, and I'm not going to take that away from them or make them feel bad about that, because that's the last thing I want. I don't want somebody in the church to come to me like this person did and make it seem like what I'm doing is wrong, because I'm not trying to do that to them. So, yeah.
Did your coming out influence the beliefs that you had now? Not about the church, but about what your perception of God is, or heaven, or spirituality.
I really wanted to stay in the church because I did want to have a belief in a God, and I wanted to have some sort of relief on what was going to happen after. And so I really did rely on the church that way to keep that perspective. But as things were being set to place and how they were reinforcing and restricting a lot of policies on their stance on LGBT, that's what really, really drew me away. And the thing is, what really bothers me is the church is really free and accepting to changing multiple policies within the church to be in today's genre or today's era, but LGBT, and which is a huge problem in today's society, and they don't acknowledge it and they won't acknowledge it, but then they are free and happy and accepting to change anything else to make anybody else happy. So,
well, yeah, in layman's terms.
Yeah.
I agree, though. But you know why they are? Do you know why the church is so strict on their gay stances?
Yeah, I mean, the man and woman, and that's another thing is like, I can never, if I were to stay with the church, there would be no purpose for me to stay. I have no growth with them. I can't get married with them. I can't have family with them. I can't have kids with them. I can't have anything with them except for sit in a congregation and just stare at all these happy families. So I chose to leave the church and be able to do that with myself and my family and not have to be unhappy, basically. Yeah.
What's a lot of people have made the point to me that a lot of ex-Mormons have made the point that, well, I guess, okay, even more specifically, a lot of optimistic ex-Mormons make the point that at some point the church will make the adjustment and accept gays as kosher and will allow them to participate in all of the ordinances and all of the same things that straight members, all the cookie cutter Mormons, like taking the sacrament and going to the temple and being sealed to your families. Do you think that the church will make that? Do you think the church will make that change? And if at some point they ever did, would that change your participation with the church?
No. I look at the church now and see all the changes that are being made. And
was that which no did that answer? You said no.
I wouldn't participate.
You wouldn't participate, but you did make the you did make the change.
If they made the change to accept LGBT into their church and congregation, I still would not go back. I say that because with all the changes that have been happening, everything that they say with these changes are, and I'm not very church, like I can't speak very churchy, but a lot of policies that change are from God, right? Is that what they say?
They all are.
So when I see all these changes happening, I can't see God telling the prophet, "Hey, like change this and this and this." It's I've when I see all these changes happening, and if it were to change for LGBT, like it why aren't you doing it now? Why
Well,
is it a better time to do it in the future? So
because
I
they would say that it's God's church, but it's man running the church, and men make mistakes, but God doesn't make mistakes. Men are just trying to do what God. Men are trying to do what God wants,
but
and
they
they're going to
say
make mistakes.
everything's a revelation from God.
Don't you? Well, yeah, that's what they're saying.
And
But
so when I
I agree
look
with
at
you.
it, I see all these, old white, really conservative men that have grown up learning and partaking in this certain way of life, to see a dramatic change they are scared of, and they have been trying to brainwash their members, and they still are, to saying that how LGBT or like marriage, like that's just it's I can't even, I have so much like going on with my brain, but like they won't change the way of marriage because they think it's between man and woman. But then again, if it happens in the future, like I don't get how it's like why, I don't know. You know
Okay,
what
well,
I
yeah,
mean?
just so to keep that thought going, there have been changes like this in the past, and one of the hot topics is blacks with the
Yeah.
priesthood. There was the church the well, and as a missionary, I thought I think about these really deep questions very intensely, and the thoughts that come back to I haven't put that much thought into these questions since, but in that example, when the church was organized, slavery was still a thing, and discrimination against blacks was very strong up until like to the mid to late 90s, against blacks, and the church in a political way couldn't allow black people the same privileges the white people have, just because of the way that blacks were treated in America at the time. So if God's church in 1830 says that all members are welcome and black people can have the same privileges as white people, the church would have been destroyed immediately, pretty much, by all of the white people, because they're pretty much saying that black people are equal to white people, which which is insane that was ever how people's brains worked. Anyway, it's the same thing with gays for forever. Well, for as long as as gay people have generally been on the back burner in society as far as social status goes, and for reasons like this, marriage, like biologically, men and women are supposed to have sex because that's how babies are made, and then we've invented monogamy, and there's no way for two men or two women to make babies. So if a religion is based on families, and if this is supposed to be an eternal thing, and we can't make that eternity grow, that principle can't change. So to those people that are saying that Mormonism will eventually accept gay people with all the rights and privileges, I can't ever see that happening, because as soon as the church does something like that, then it will dissolve, because then their foundation will crumble, which is men and women getting married and having babies. Once that changes, unless they said that this is still the principle, but we accept. I guess they can just accept it, but then, like you're saying, then what the hell? Why hasn't this always been accepted, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
why make it acceptable in the future and not now? What changes in the world are going to happen in the future that aren't happening now? Like what's going to make it acceptable? I mean, and that's what when I hear a lot of Mormons that are gay that are still in the church, they always tell me, "Oh, they'll make it a thing." Like I'm just waiting. Like,
Yeah,
it's
how
gonna
could you ever?
happen.
I really don't know how they could have that. I mean, I love that people are more optimistic than I am about it. I have no problem with optimism,
Yeah.
but logically, it doesn't make it. I know it's getting hot in here. I have to turn the AC off so the fan doesn't blow in the microphones. Sorry.
Okay.
It just doesn't make any logical sense to me, and maybe somebody can share some more light with me about it because I can't see it happening. And I mean that's just one issue that I have with with the Mormon Church, two with religion in general, three with spirituality and communication with God, and four with human beings. So pretty much everything I got a problem with. It just doesn't make sense that, like you're saying, why is it not okay then, but then all of a sudden now we're going to accept blacks to get the priesthood and to go to the temple and get married in the temple. And now we're going to allow gay people to get married in the temple and get sealed to their families
It's all
and things like
like
that.
social stances to me.
Well, it's really popular in Utah because that's the root of Utah is Mormonism. So now I think we're finally breaking out of that. Well, we're behind the rest of the nation in that regard. I think everybody else has already. Well, Devin Cooper was saying this too. Everybody else is basically more accepting of homosexuals and bi people and all of the whole LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, it's very interesting. So do you go to church at all anymore? Anywhere?
No.
You don't do anything? Do you pray?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in something.
Something?
I believe in a greater power. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's man. I don't know if it's woman. I don't know what it is, and I don't really want to. I don't want to sit and waste my time figuring out what it is. Like I don't know. I can say I'm not gonna sit and say that there's nothing because I have a feeling there is, and I want to know that. I want to think there's something there.
What is that feeling?
But, I don't know. I haven't felt it.
You just do you want to believe there's something else out there, or do you feel so you don't feel like there is, but you want to believe that there is?
I don't know. It's just like it's a tough topic or conversation because we don't know. I don't know.
Come a little closer to the mic, just a little bit.
Better?
Yeah, no, way better.
I want
bars on the screen.
I want to believe there's something, and I think there is because I look at everything and I think there's got to be something out there. Again, I don't know if it's a man. I don't know if it's a woman. I don't know if it's a horse. I don't know if it's an alien. It could be anything, and I think a lot of people sit and try to figure out what it is or who it is, and I just think live your life the way you want and the best you can as being a good person, then you'll find out.
I love this conversation. This is a little bit different direction that I was going with Cooper, and I have these questions we can get back onto the your story, or we could keep going in this direction, whichever way you want to go, because I like both of them.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pull up these questions. I think we can save a religious conversation for next time.
Okay.
Let me find these. Did you get any questions when you posted it?
A couple.
Well, pull them up.
Let's see.
Yeah. You can take your phone off airplane mode, but you put the phone on the other side of the desk, away from this guy.
I think I should be able to just pull them up. Okay, I got them.
We had a lot of fun. Yeah, and we went on Instagram Live. I'm going to do that again. But I hate how it gives me feedback. Can you hear it in your mic? In your head?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's dumb. Do you have your questions?
Yep.
Okay, give me one sec. Wow, why is this so difficult for me? Okay, checking connection. We're live. Yep, here we go. I think I had the same pink headphones on last time. We'll wait for a couple people to show up, and then we'll get started. And I don't think I'll need to go through the survey questions again. The other half of Cooper's episode was these survey questions. So, questions like how do you fit in with the LGBTQ plus community, and then what is transgender? What is gender dysphoria? Do you know what? Have you heard of the term gender dysphoria?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're now we got company. We're joined by Maverick _50. Oh, here we go. Hayden, Brendan Whitney, Courtney, Mikkel Moss. What's up, fam? We got my brother Connor here. He just had to take his beanie off because it's probably 80 degrees in
So
here now.
hot.
We're sweating like crazy. This conversation is steamy. Connor's got some questions. Why don't you hit us with that first one?
You're right. Let's see. Someone asked, "How can I support more?" That's a tough question.
Wow. Okay. How can we support the community more?
I guess
That's a
yeah.
really good. I've actually asked myself that before too. What's the best way a straight person like me can support the LGBTQ friends, family, or community?
I think by just treating people fairly across the board. I think everybody deserves to be treated just as any other person, whether you're straight, gay, lesbian, bi. I think nobody should be treated otherwise by their sexuality. So I think by supporting more, I think all you have to do really is just treat somebody like they're a person and not like they're some sick creature that is pretending to be somebody that they're not. So, I mean, there are obviously like ways and different opportunities out there to contribute to LGBT, like different support systems and groups and stuff like that you can obviously do. I haven't really got much into that, but I think just treating everybody like they are a person and nothing other than that is the best way you can support somebody.
I like that, and that echoes what we were saying earlier. What Cooper was saying. There's nothing wrong. Gay people don't have something wrong with their heads.
No,
They're not sick people.
no.
I think straight people that don't understand gay people think they're sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
I think I've never thought. Here's my thing. I've always had. Well, I grew up with you and Cooper, and I knew I was straight from the beginning. I've never had questions about my sexuality, but I knew that you and Cooper behaved differently than I did. Is my finger on the my where is
Nope.
the microphone on it anyway?
Just, I don't know, one of those buttons. Or
So,
this.
I never like told myself that you and Cooper were gay when we were young.
Yeah.
But when you and Cooper came out, it wasn't a shocker, like you were saying about.
Right.
But I think for people that don't have any differences in their life and they are interacting with, like a lot of my friends will, it wasn't. I don't even know if it was a shock to a lot of my friends when you guys came out. It's just different. And people that
Yeah.
don't interact with that community don't know how, like, they feel like they have to treat them differently.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case.
No.
They're still fucking human beings.
Yep.
And we're all human beings. Yeah. So, like, how do you fit in, or how do you support the community? I guess you just really treat
Treat
everybody
them like a person.
You treat everyone
Don't
like
treat them like an animal.
they're not strangers. They're not sick.
They're just the person they were before they ever came out or something.
Yeah,
to someone else.
that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's that's really just that's the bottom line. there's no secret formula to support. But I guess maybe if you're getting opposition, if you're meeting opposition with coming out, like if your family is not supportive, if you're losing friends and your community is anti-gay, and somebody's coming to you for support, then you just overwhelm them with love and encouragement, right? Because there's nothing wrong with embracing your feelings.
Right. No, not at all. No.
Cool. Well, we a couple more people are joining us. We got Ashley with Ashley Purdy podcast,
What up?
the Purdy Girl podcast. Sarah, Sid, we've got 6. No, we just lost one. We've got 5 people watching us now. Thanks for tuning in. Connor's got another question for us.
Thanks. The next question I see is, do you feel safe? I guess that's more of a personal question and not much about the community. With my personal experience, I feel completely safe. Again, with my friends and family I am in a really good spot with how I am. I haven't had any encounters that are dangerous yet, and I'm really grateful for that. Again, there are a lot of people out there that are not in safe situations and that are in very dangerous situations. And that just goes with everybody, but this community can be really dangerous too, to people with very strict parents, family, friends. There's always situations where you can feel unsafe, but for me, I've been really supported and loved, and I can't feel more safe than I do. So
good. So what do you say to the people that are let's say I'm an adolescent boy growing up, and I have sexual curiosities, and I don't know if I'm attracted to boys or girls or both or nobody, but it's confusing. But my family is super religious, and I know that they will be disappointed or upset if I ever tell them that if I want to. And in my household, we probably have had the birds and the bees talk, but we don't have any sexual conversations. Mm-hmm. What am I supposed to do? I don't know if I can go to my friends, because all of my friends are religious. My community, I go to church. I grew up in a church. I'm basically painting your picture but in a more dramatic sense, because our family's been supportive.
There are a lot of people that have to deal with that, unfortunately, and I think the best thing you can do are find those people that do support you and your decisions. And there are people out there, even if you feel like there are not. You can find them at school. You can find them at the store. You can seriously find anybody anywhere. And there are always going to be those support centers, or there's going to always be those support groups that you can find that will be there for you. They're everywhere, even here in Salt Lake in Utah. You can find somebody, whether it's on the street, that supports you and will love you. And if it's not your family or friends, then that's fine. But I always think you should try with your family and friends first. Even if you think they're gonna disagree or hate you on it, there's always going to be that chance that you've got to take. And if you don't have any family or friends that are there for you, then there is going to be somebody. And you just got to probably find that somebody out there in the world. But again, there's social media platforms. You can reach out to people. I think there's even helplines. You can call people and ask for help. I think there are endless amounts of opportunity and systems out there that really care about people in situations like that can help, for sure.
I think Ashley says that she loves your perspective. Sydney loves the Kelly fam. We love you guys. I think we are in a much different time now than a lot of years ago, or even just a few years ago. We have the internet now to find our community, which has its pros and cons. Cooper says, me and Connor sound the exact same. You even look the exact same. I told Cooper last time, there were times I was looking at him, I was like, that's Connor. And now I'm doing the same thing, but I'm looking at you and I'm like, that's Cooper. I've always been able to discern the both of you, but now, the older we get, the harder it's becoming. Mm-hmm. But now that you're trying to copy my hair, it's much easier.
No.
Yeah, copying my hair.
No, my hair's better.
No, my hair's way better, and it's way longer. But it's
longer, but
and it's in
better.
The bun. Look, it's in the bun. It looks so good in the bun. I got
right.
the kind of low and spread out.
Cool.
Yeah, I think now if anybody can find their community now online. So if you have your family plus you have this online community, but years ago you didn't have.
No.
And I was talking to some family members who were struggling leaving the church because they didn't have all of their support was their family and friends, mm-hmm. and their immediate group of people, and they couldn't rely on any of them for support. Yeah. But now for anything, everybody's online. Anybody can find the support online. It's way different. It's to to break social norms.
Yeah.
So I think I think finding your online community is insanely beneficial if you're responsible, and if I think most parents and most friends are loving and understanding enough that if you want, well, even, and then at the same time, nobody wants to be surrounded by toxic behaviors or negative and be punished for who we are. So by coming out and expressing yourself, I think you're taking a stand for who you are, and then if that pushes people away, well, it's going to give you a better environment
clarity.
Anyway,
and it's giving you clarity of the people that you want in your life.
Yeah. Mariah says your hair is better, but I'm not going to say that anybody.
Thanks, Mariah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Thanks.
Well, but Connor did hair though, Mariah, and Mariah did hair too.
Oh, did she?
She does
So
hair.
she knows.
Does hair or did hair?
She knows.
She knows. But Mariah, you know my hair looks, and my facial hair looks really good too. Ashley asks, has social media helped with feeling supported?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Ashley.
I wouldn't seriously I probably wouldn't be where I am today without social media.
Yeah.
Like, social media has totally been a huge support system and something I can always rely on and have relied on. So,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we went more into that a little bit earlier. Easy on covering the mic. I don't even know where it is on the phone. Sorry, I really am trying to not do that. Mariah did hair. We're joined by Cody Johnson. Hey, Sarah said you were mad about not getting the shout out last time. I do my best, but people come and go, and it's really tough. Zach says hello. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really enjoy it. Do you have any more questions?
I think there was one more. I got a lot of weird questions, but a good one. What does it feel like to be in the LGBTQ community in Utah? Do you feel loved and respected? Honestly, it feels good. I mean, I haven't been anywhere else, but my experience here in Utah has been really great. It probably could be better other places. Again, I don't know. But right now I feel loved and respected by everybody. People in the streets.
In the streets,
gangsta. Oh, yeah. All the time, all day. But like, seriously, school, work, friends, strangers. Like, there are so many people out there that are going through the same thing, and there are a lot of people that aren't even going what I'm going through, but are there to love and respect the people in the LGBTQ community. And so, again, like, it's been really great, and I really want to go experience it somewhere else too. I don't know where. I want to see what it's like anywhere else. Could be better.
Well, Ashley just asked, do you see yourself living in Utah forever?
Oh, I mean, if I make money, we'll see. But right now, I'm comfortable here.
The culture here isn't.
It's not toxic.
It's not dramatic enough
to not killing
push
me.
You out.
No,
yeah.
I'm fine here. I love the people. I have. The thing is, like, moving away from my family would be horrible and hard on me. Like, I love being here to be able to be with my family. So
yeah, family's big.
Yeah, like,
the support that you have now.
Yeah. No, it would be hard to leave them. So yeah, Utah, I'm comfortable. I think I want to stay here.
Mikkel, we don't need your toxic behavior on the chat either. We're here for just positivity and support. And if you know where the mic is on the phone, then tell me, and we'll not cover it up because I have no idea where it's at. Any more questions? Any more questions from the chat?
Those were the only like normal questions, I guess you could say.
Normal questions.
Got a lot of weird ones.
Well, you can read any weird ones if you want.
Am I a top or bottom? I'm not. No, I'm not answering that.
I'm a bottom.
Gross.
Oh yeah, baby. It's easier. You don't have to do as much work. It's way easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You uncomfortable talking about sex?
Yeah.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
No.
Cody says it's on the bottom. Yeah, but there's fucking 18 holes on the bottom. And there's 2 of them are screws. And the rest of them just look like speakers. Hey, Jess, thanks for joining. Okay, well, let's see let's see if you guys got any more questions you want to ask Connor. For those who are just joining, I got my brother Connor on here. What's up, Connor? We're doing just a little Q&A really fast, kind of following up on some of the questions we asked Cooper earlier this week. Did I asked you about gender dysphoria?
Yeah, I didn't answer though.
Oh, do you know what it is?
Is there an actual just like thing there?
Well, I know what it is.
Okay, so I don't know the exact like the correct definition or what really it is, but gender dysphoria to me is somebody that's maybe lost or confused on who they are and what they identify as. They may feel like they were born and feel like the opposite sex, or feel like they were born maybe in a different or wrong body. So I think it's just somebody that struggles with who they are and how they see themselves and want to maybe change their look, I guess.
And I think I'm just gonna ask the question: do you think that's a real feeling?
Oh,
or do you think it's artificial?
sure.
Do you think people fake that?
Yes. No, I've even had it. Like I think anybody can have it. It's a lot more popular than I think a lot of people think.
So dysphoria specifically to gender is not knowing, feeling like you're
Feeling
born.
like you're maybe in the wrong body, maybe feeling like you're in the wrong, that you were meant to be the other gender, or you just don't feel comfortable in the role that you were born in or have.
So answer this then. Because I have no personal experience with this, it's hard to understand how a man, I can understand a man being, I wish I could just prop this up. I can understand how a man is born a man and has feminine traits, but it's hard to understand a man being a man or having male genitalia and then feeling like they are a woman. Can you explain the difference between being feminine and genuinely feeling like a woman?
Yeah, no, I think there are men out there, or even women that have more characteristics or traits as the other gender. So I don't think just because you're a man and you're more feminine that you want to be a woman. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think like there are people out there that may be having a hard time with who they are and what they want to be. And I think some people feel like if I was just the other gender, my life would be easier. I feel like if I was just born a woman, that like I would feel more normal. I think that's what people sit and think and worry about, is like they sit and wonder if like maybe I am transgender, maybe I'm not, maybe this is a phase, maybe why do I like this? I think it's just like a confusion and a lot of just like they have like this thing in their head that's just like talking to them and making them feel this way. And I think it's just something that they have with the other gender.
Do you think making the decision to be a trans solves that?
I think for a lot of people it does.
I guess not solves, but satisfies the uneasiness.
I think it does, and then I think a lot of people do it and then maybe regret it. I don't have much experience in that. Like, I don't know. I haven't really even talked to people or met with people that way. Like, if it were me, because like I said, that I back in the day had that problem too. Like, I thought maybe if I was just born a woman that it would be easier. But like now thinking about it, if I were to ever have been like a trans or male to female, I probably would have hated it. And I probably would have regretted it.
You would have regretted it if you had done it then.
Yeah, so it's something like that. I think that explains what just like gender dysphoria is you are troubled with who you are and how you maybe identify as yourself, and you want to be something else, but you can't be that way. And I think a lot of people have problems, wanting to change that up or that kind of stuff.
So, okay, yeah. Well, thanks for being honest with your personal feelings. I know it can be sensitive, but I don't think there's any shame in talking about it or admit because although I don't have any personal experience with that now, maybe that'll happen in the future.
And that's the thing.
I hope that we could talk about, if I want to be able to create an environment where if somebody feels uncomfortable in their skin or they feel like they have to conform to a certain belief or practice, they should be able to address that. They feel like they are not who everybody else wants them to be.
Mm-hmm. So
being able to say I'm a man and I have a penis, but I don't feel like
I should.
I don't feel like I should.
Yeah.
I don't personally believe there's anything wrong with feeling that, but I don't think we should shun that discussion
or automatically say, I don't want a penis, so I'm gonna go get it removed.
Yeah, and then or just right away go get a trans
no,
operation.
It's definitely like like that's definitely something that people have to go through and maybe even just work through. But like you said, like I have to be an open book at this point because I just feel like there are people out here that feel that maybe that same way, and they need people that can be open about it. What is he saying?
Coop makes some good points. I'll bring it up, but I gotta end this. But Ashley asked really fast, and while we're on, I'm gonna ask Ashley. Ask Connor, are you dating anybody?
No.
Oh, you hear that? You hear that, fellas? This one's single.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. So
wish.
not dating. Wish he was dating. What is dating like in Utah? How is dating as a gay man in Utah?
It's definitely available. Like I've had my fair share. I haven't been anywhere else to date, so I haven't really experienced what it's like to compare like an apples to apples, but I would say there are a lot of men out there, even women, that, may have this, the feelings of being gay, but they won't come out because they're in Utah. So I think the opportunity is slim. I think there are a lot of guys out there that feel the same way but are not out. So there are, and I think that's anywhere. But I think in Utah specifically, it's a big problem, and I think a lot of people are hiding who they really are. So dating really is slim here. Like I'll scroll through Tinder, and I'll be out of people to look through because it's like there's nobody else on Tinder.
Do you suicide swipe Tinder?
Oh, a lot.
I
don't even get to really look.
Well, you can't. You've got to like message everybody to get any dates out of Tinder. I didn't get any dates out of Tinder.
Yeah, no. Have you ever scrolled through Tinder and you've run out of people to look through?
Yeah.
You have?
I did in Logan. Because there's 40 people in Logan.
But then I'm in Salt Lake
City. And everybody
City.
else is you've got a lot of people.
And
that's true.
When you really look at the ratio, I look at my friends, my girlfriends, and they go through like the straight Tinder, I guess is what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
They will never, ever run out of people to look through.
No.
But
yeah.
a gay Tinder, me going on Tinder, I will go through my fair share, and it'll be like, you've swiped too many people. Like, there's nobody else.
Like, chill the fuck out.
You're not going to find anybody because you're so picky.
You are
I
picky, though. Ashley says go to gay clubs in Salt Lake. They're the best.
Oh, Ashley,
have you been to gay clubs?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
fun.
Sarah went to a gay club for a bachelorette party. And
was it the Trap?
Sun Trap?
Sun Trap?
Yeah, and it was a riot.
It's fun.
I want to go to a gay bar and fucking party.
It's so fun. Dad goes. Let's all go.
I know. I want to go. I'm gonna end this, Cooper. I'm gonna address your points after I close this, but I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you were there earlier, or if you're still here, Rachel, Sydney, we love your baby too, and I hope that
so cute. Your baby's adorable. I love your baby.
Love your baby. Jess, Austin Hatch, Cody, everyone else that's still listening. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Cooper was saying he had made the point in his episode about. So I'm going to turn this back on airplane mode because, and then it's going away. Okay. We should be gender neutral about our activities. Like with sports isn't just a guy thing. Makeup just isn't just a girl thing. We should be able to use we shouldn't dictate what people are attracted to. And when I say we, I mean our culture. We shouldn't create the culture where we decide boys like to play football and girls like to do makeup and girls do hair. But any guy or girl should be able to do anything. Right. If you're talking like competitive sports, like in high school, like if a girl, I don't know how a girl couldn't. Well, biologically, men and females are just different. Yeah. Men are typically bigger and stronger, and girls are leaner and smaller. It's just it's not the rule, but it's generally the case. And I think there should still be rules about like separating men and women's sports, but not in every case. Anyway.
I think
that's another conversation.
If a girl wants to play football, let her play football. If
on a high school team, on the men's high school team.
Like that's where it's tricky.
That's what I'm saying.
Like some big quarterback's gonna tackle this girl and break your bones.
The quarterbacks don't tackle anybody.
I don't know.
I know you don't play football.
Well, some guy is gonna trample on this girl and she's gonna break her bones. But then again, like you look at the guys and they're on the cheerleading squad, and
It's
everyone
true.
has looked at cheerleading as a female activity or whatever. And then there's the drill team that even here in Layton, there have been guys on the drill team. So I think it's a lot of controversy there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's so I don't know how to make those rules.
I don't think
What's
anybody really
I
does.
mean, I guess if a 100-pound woman wants to go play football against these 250-pound players, in high school, the high school kids when I was in high school, I was like 220 pounds. I was fat and I didn't play football, but um, girls will just go out there and get annihilated. Most girls, but then there's masculine girls and there's a lot of smaller guys too that are playing football. So I guess it would balance out. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly.
No, I don't either. If a girl wants to play football, I'm not gonna say that's a
Fucking let her
guy
play
sport.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, cool, go
Yeah,
play
let her play
football.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if her family's out playing on Thanksgiving, like let her play. Like I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Well, yeah. I think
Be a little easy on her, but
extra pads. No, I think I just think we shouldn't separate or decide what people get to enjoy or what they want to do with their lives.
Right.
I think we're on the same page there. This has been awesome. I think right now, let's see where we're at. An hour 45 minutes and 51 seconds. I think I've covered most of the questions all of the questions that we covered with Cooper. I brushed over really fast some of the other ones. I can ask you. Here's a personal question. Does calling something gay like that's dumb offend you? If someone's like, oh, fucking football, that's gay. And you were in the room, would you be like, would that hurt? Does that hurt you?
I'm not like, I mean, I get shocked more than offended. I mean, this is how I look at that. I think when people say, oh, look, that's gay, I look at it as, people of color looking at, like, if they hear somebody, like a white person say the N-word, that's how I look at it. And I think that's
You
how
feel
a lot
the
of
same
people,
way?
I think
do you think
it's an
most gay people
offensive
feel that way?
term. I think so, because it's an offensive term that has been used to look down on the LGBTQ. I mean, like it was used negatively in the past. People are still using it today. That's how I look at it today, is people are not using it as a good term. They're using it as a negative term. So when it's just when black people get offended when a white person says the N-word, I look at it as, oh, so this straight guy is saying that's gay, and it's offending gay people. That's how I look at it. I mean, it's not really offending me. I just think it's just like a double standard kind of thing to me. I think a lot of people don't even know that they're saying it. I think it's just kind of, I don't think people think they're trying to offend anybody. I think it's just part of like a vocabulary that people have grown to use, especially in the back. I really don't hear it much anymore.
No.
When I was in junior high and high school, it was everywhere. People were saying it all the time. But I think with how things are now today and how strong and like how this LGBTQ community is grown, I think a lot of people are being a lot more respectful in that way. And I think there obviously are going to be people that are still like, who cares? Like, I'm not using it in a bad way, but like when you sit and hear people that do get offended from it, or like, you just got to respect that person's feelings, and it's not something to use as a negative term, because it's not.
So don't even say it behind their backs. Like, don't like,
no, I mean,
there's not a gay person in the room still. I agree. It was huge in high school for me too.
Yeah.
And everybody said
I
everything
said
was gay.
it. Like, I mean, before I came out, I would say it. Like, I just, like, and I didn't mean it to hurt anyone's feelings. Like, I used it because I thought, oh, this means that, like, stupid or dumb. I used it to describe something as stupid. But as soon as I started to become more as into who I am and how it actually is offensive to a lot of people, I think that's when people are starting to say, okay, like this is probably not a good term to use, or even the word like faggot, like people use that word
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna ask about that one after.
Faggot is, I think, where it's more like offensive because again, that's used as a negative term on LGBTQ. Like, but a lot of people don't think so. And then when people say the N word, they're not trying to, offend black people. But it's just like it's like a double standard. It's just like a respectful thing.
They're gross word. They've turned into gross words.
They are gross words that a lot of people they just shouldn't be used. Use different words.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And I don't think any. I don't. I mean, and it's the same thing as like saying something or someone is retarded.
Yeah.
Because it was all of these words. Actually don't know where fag comes from, but I know gay has a different history as showing signs of happy and joy, and retarded is like being slow, the process of slowing down,
like mental disorder,
and
like
it's still an actual word that people use to retard something.
Yeah.
Someone is retarded,
mentally retarded.
But then you can use them in gross ways,
Right.
So, but as far as gay goes, as far as faggot,
yeah, it just
they're
falls
just
under
gross
the
words.
same category as the N word, as retard. It's part of a family of words that are meant not to be used as is derogatory a word to use.
Yeah, for that word you're saying. Yeah, it's derogatory. Are there other words?
Yeah, gay, homo, fag, like all just like all those.
Yeah, yeah. I think those. I can't think of any other ones.
No.
Yeah, that was one question I asked Cooper off the microphones, and it was the same. He was actually like, let's save it for the podcast, and then we never talked about it. But yeah, that's yeah. I'm glad that you covered that. Is there anything else that you want to discuss or explain or clarify? I think we've done a really good job.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, just as you are, just as anybody is, I mean, we are all humans. We're all people. We all feel the same way. We all have feelings. We all, at the end of the day, are just trying to live our way of life the best that we can, that we see it, just as you do, or just as a religious person does, just as a non-religious person does. Everybody, we as the LGBTQ are just trying to live our life the best we can. As I know I am. I'm not part of the LGBTQ to show attention, to be someone. I'm not to try and what's the word? Just
You're not looking
show
for the
off.
limelight.
I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to be somebody to. Yeah,
You're not trying to draw attention to yourself.
Right. I'm not.
You're being true to
yourself.
yourself.
A lot of people think that people are gay for attention or to. Yeah, we really are not. It's just a life. It's not a lifestyle. It's how we were born. We're just all trying to figure it out, and we're all just trying to go about our day and live the life that we think is right.
Okay, and we talked about this with Coop too. Is your sexuality a choice?
Not at all.
Not at all. It hasn't been for you.
No.
So what is okay? And the way that we talked about it too, you really should have just listened to the whole episode because it was really good at the end too. We Cooper and I were saying it's your sexuality isn't a choice.
No.
But it's hard for a straight person to understand why anybody else wouldn't be straight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've felt that as a straight person. I know I've talked with my friends and family that have said similar things. One, because I think of our culture where we are born believing that if you're not straight, then something's wrong.
Right.
And not just in Mormonism, but in I guess just like the big picture. I think that's generally the case.
A lot of people think it's like a choice.
It's
and it's completely not.
It's when you, and I think you kind of made the point too, where you felt like, oh, I don't feel like I'm straight, and there's something wrong, and I
Yeah.
think I've got to just work it out and figure it out. But you've learned that you can't change your sexuality. You can be open about your sexuality. You can, I don't know where you're at now, but you know that you're attracted to men, but you also are attracted to women in a different way.
Yeah.
So and that's what Cooper and I were saying. I have the same thing too. We talked. I hit these points kind of improv last time, but I really am sticking with it now. We make connections with other people in emotionally, romantically, and physically.
Yeah.
And some people find, this is just a recap for everyone. I got to do this for Connor, but I also really like this perspective. We make connections with these people in these three different ways, and in some people we find all three emotions, romantic and physical. And some people we find just two of them. Some people we find one, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For some reason we just live in a world where we need to be with one person that's of the opposite sex and have all three of these. So yes, you're attracted to just men, but you can find emotional satisfaction in men and women.
You can be attracted to the opposite sex, and it just doesn't have to be sexual.
It doesn't always have to be
You don't always
sexual.
have to be
Yes,
sexually
that's
attracted to anybody.
That's a good way to say it.
Like, I am attracted to women, just not sexually. Like,
yeah, that's
when
awesome.
I look at men, like, yeah, I'm attracted to them, and it could be sexual, but then, like, I can be
Say that again. Say all that again, but talk into your mic this time.
You can be sexually attracted to men or women. I mean, when I look at it, I am attracted to both. I am attracted to men sexually, emotionally, and physically, and then I am attracted to women emotionally and I don't have to have sexual attractions to women to be like emotionally. Is that you?
That was an accident. I'm very sorry about that.
That's it.
Keep going.
That's it.
Oh, I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
No, I was done.
Okay, yeah. Wow, damn it! I did not mean to do that. I just got a message, and I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful point. I love taking life at that angle, instead of dealing in absolutes. And someone just told me recently that only Siths deal in absolutes. Do you know what that's from?
No.
Only Siths. Do you know what a Sith is?
No.
Okay, we'll just move on. It's a Star Wars reference, but we'll just move right on from it. I love having an open mind, an open perspective. It's very satisfying to me to know there are so many different ways to live our lives and to feel love and connection with other people. There isn't just one way to do it. I think you and Cooper are an excellent example of being happy people, happy, successful, and optimistic, and have great relationships with religious people, religious friends and family, and non-religious, and being able to pretty much to break the social norms and be true to yourselves. So I love that. I love that perspective. You'll have to go hear Cooper's perspective too in the last little bit. We saved like all of the meat for the end, but I kind of like it because then now everybody has to listen all the way through to get the meat. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
We're 2 hours in. You feel good about 2 hours? It's not 2.5, but you're not going to get mad at me for not doing 2.5 because I can keep going for
short and sweet.
Yeah, kind of short. Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you came out, and we kind of cut the religious part back a little bit to focus more on the relation to. Wow, my brain is frying by the second. We should come back and revisit the religious conversation because that's a really important aspect to me. And in my first episode that I did by myself, I kind of talked about how I wanted to know more about what it felt like to be a gay person in a gay home excuse me, a gay person in, yeah, my brain is destroyed at this point. It's Friday and I'm fucking checking out and I'm gonna go play some Call of Duty.
Heck yeah.
But I want to know what it was like for you having different attractions but growing up believing that you were supposed to be straight. Yeah, I've got to wrap this up or I'm gonna explode in front of you. If you've stuck with us for the last 1 hour, 59 minutes and 29 seconds, again, I'm really grateful for you. I love your feedback. I hope you keep sending me feedback. I think what I'm gonna do is set up a separate Facebook page, Instagram page, Twitter thing, so I can keep I don't have a problem posting on all of my podcast stuff on my personal pages, but I think it would be easier for the feedback and for criticism. I want to hear it, and I want to be able to separate the both. So keep an eye out for Kaiden's podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And if you can't find it, just keep. You can always message me or find me on my personal stuff, and I'll be sure to link Connor's socials.
Heck yeah.
And all of the stuff, so you can reach out to him. It's just Connor D. Kelly, right?
Give me a follow. Yep.
ConnorDeekelly.
Yep.
No EY.
No.
And you can reach out to him. He's got a lot of he's an awesome example for anybody that might be struggling with who they are and needs a vent. Connor's a great vent. I'm totally plugging you in for that.
Sweet.
Anything
Thanks.
else you want to plug? Anything else going on in your life you want to promote?
Just come shop at my store with me.
Hope
Sugar
Ave.
House, Hope Ave, Wilmington Ave. It's on Wilmington.
Wilmington?
Wilmington Street in Hope Ave.
Mm.
Next to Orange Theory. Come visit me and buy some clothes.
Is this Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City. Sugar House.
Sugar House. Go see him in Sugar House at Hope Ave.
Yes.
Anything else?
That wraps it.
Thanks so much for tuning in. 2
Thank
hours. We broke the
you.
2 hours. 2 hours and 1 minute. This has been another episode of Kaiden's Podcast.